Hi, my name is Sunu Singh. I'm the Associate Editor at The Drum, and with me I have a social media wizard to talk about the organic social media engagement. That is her role, all right. I have Natalie Siagian from Contiki, UK, social media wizard and influencer manager. What do you think you would say to brands that are trying to tap and reach into the influence of professional YouTube content creators?
I would say that firstly, you always have to, as a brand, you always have to have an objective. Why is it that you want to work with these YouTube content creators? And once as a brand you have those objectives in place, it's really important to develop a relationship with these YouTubers. And in order for a brand to do it in an organic and natural way, you need to ensure that you believe in your product, essentially. A good example of how we've worked with YouTubers in the past, in 2012, we created a YouTube series called The Road Trip, where we partnered up with 12 of the world's leading content creators, from the likes of Louis Cole, Chloe Morello, The Buried Life, and it was all quite organic. We basically said to them, guys, come on the road trip to Europe for 10 days and essentially create content for their own channels. For brands that are paying for YouTube content creators, there has to be an equilibrium of control and trust. But essentially, YouTubers understand their audience most, and you have to relinquish that control.
Just before the word trust, you use the word relationship, and
Yep.
I'm wondering, why is audience engagement much more important than, say, something like follow account?
In terms of brand engagement, it's a much more important metric for us because we're able to understand how we are creating these relationships with our audience and essentially building brand awareness as well. So you can, for example, Contiki have like over 1.1 million followers globally, but if no one is engaging with our content, it's virtually meaningless for us. So we look at engagement in terms of shares, comments, likes, reactions. We've been using a very useful tool for the past few years called Falcon, and it allows us to see on a month-to-month what types of content people are consuming, and allows us to optimize and into the new year and every month.
What you were talking about in terms of content, you're basically talking about storytelling, and I think it was a word you used earlier as well. And what really that means is, as incredible a tool social media and indeed influencer marketing can be, it can be quite overwhelming for most marketeers.
Yeah.
They're still kind of wading through it all. But where do you start with, say, even things like metrics and effectiveness when they can't even really adjust to the world of influencer marketing?
The thing with travel is that travel isn't linear. The journey isn't a straight line. Our marketing is geared to ensuring that we go within these consumer needs states and where they are in that moment. So how we do this is we have a marketing calendar, and we address it by having different content and influence marketing strategies. So it might not be a month-to-month campaign. What it looks like are the different consumer needs states.
You mentioned travel, and obviously travel and social media, that's a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
And it's not just for travel brands, obviously, who are, in terms of all the verticals, they're the ones who seem to be at the top of the game. But also individually, all of us are posting our photos of eating pasta and pizza and asking everybody on top tips of beaches in Bali or Indonesia. Do you have any advice for travel brands how not to get lost in this sort of sea of content that's out there?
There's a funny thing that I heard the other week. They say that travel often makes for lazy marketers because you're selling a holiday or a destination. But if you're just posting, hot dog legs on the beach and best travel tips, I don't think you're able to really truly stand out. So our advice for brands is to, find your why. What's your point of difference? And then once you have that, and for us, it's obviously like holidays and trips for 18 to 35-year-olds. By being able to find your point of difference, you're able to, all your marketing starts to align to that.
Are there any sort of great big myths that still exist about influencers that you would like to burst?
The thing with influencers is, I think if you're looking at influencers to solve all your problems, that's not going to happen. But if you're looking at influencers to communicate a message and to be able to reach a new audience, I think you have to just make sure that you're being smart about it. Make sure that you're developing a relationship, but you're developing a relationship and a message that kind of comes with it and that allows you to speak to new audiences.
Which leads me to my last question, is that for brands that are still struggling to increasing organic social media engagement and reach, indeed, sometimes, would you have some top tips?
Yeah, definitely. It's no myth that organic social media engagement per se is decreasing, but the way we look at it is that it's moving forward, and in 2018 it's going to come to the point where we're going to have to get smarter with our paid advertising, and it's also looking at content distribution networks.
Well, thank you very much. I do hope that the social media wizard that we had with us was able to answer some of your most pertinent questions. So thank you again for your time, Natalie, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks.